The battle above Earth began in chaos. The Vrexian fleet's main weapon systems were failing thanks to Engineer Patel's virus. Admiral Craven watched in rage as his carefully planned attack fell apart. "Fix the systems now," he shouted at his officers. On Earth, Vice Admiral Howard directed the defense from Space Command headquarters. Earth's ships were few and primitive compared to the alien fleet, but Howard had a plan. "They expect us to fight like they do," he told his commanders. "We won't. Launch Operation Thunderstorm." Earth's ships began moving in unpredictable patterns, firing nuclear missiles not at the alien vessels but at empty space around them. The missiles detonated, creating electromagnetic pulses that further disrupted the alien technology. Aboard the subjugator, Commander Wright watched with pride. "That's a classic Earth strategy. Create confusion, then strike where they least expect it." Admiral Craven glared at her. "Your primitive weapons cannot defeat us." "It's not about the weapons," Wright replied. "It's about how we use them." Meanwhile, Lieutenant Carter had managed to break free during the confusion. The Vrexians had underestimated human strength again. The restraints designed for Council species couldn't hold him when he applied his full force. Carter moved through the ship's corridors searching for his crewmates. He found Dr. Daniels being moved to another section by 2 guards. With quick movements, Carter knocked out the guards and freed Daniels. "The ship's in chaos," Carter told him. "Patel's virus worked. Now we need to find the others and get to an escape pod." In the maintenance section, Officer Coleman had joined Patel in his sabotage efforts. They had discovered something important about Vrexian ship design. "Their life support systems are designed for their biology," Patel explained. "They can't handle rapid temperature or pressure changes." Coleman smiled. "But humans can." They adjusted the environmental controls in key sections of the ship, making conditions uncomfortable for Vrexians but still tolerable for humans. Throughout the massive vessel, Vrexian crew members began feeling sick as temperature and pressure fluctuated. Many abandoned their posts seeking medical help. On the bridge, even Admiral Craven felt the effects. His scales had turned a pale orange, a sign of distress in his species. "What's happening to my ship?" he demanded. A Vrexian officer struggled to respond. "Life support systems are malfunctioning. Conditions are approaching death world levels." Craven turned to Wright in sudden understanding. "Your people did this." Wright said nothing, but her expression confirmed his suspicion. Down. On Earth, the battle was not going well despite the initial success. Several alien ships had landed troops in major cities. The Vrexian ground forces were equipped with advanced weapons and protective suits. But Earth had its own advantages. Human soldiers were naturally stronger and more enduring than the aliens, and they were fighting on their home ground, a death world. In New York, Vrexian troops struggled with Earth's gravity. Their movements were slow and clumsy. Human defenders used this weakness, engaging in close combat where possible. In Beijing, a sudden rainstorm disabled Vrexian sensor equipment. Their protective suits, designed for space and standard atmospheric conditions, began malfunctioning in the heavy downpour. In Rio de Janeiro, the heat and humidity proved challenging for the cold-adapted Vrexians. Their troops retreated to their ships after just 2 hours of fighting. Back on the subjugator, Carter and Daniels had found Dr. Nunez being held in a science lab. The Vrexian scientists had been studying her, amazed by human brain structure and linguistic abilities. "They can't understand how we learn languages so quickly," Nunez told them as they escaped. "Most council species take years to master a new language." "Where's Commander Wright?" Carter asked. "On the bridge with Craven," Nunez replied. "He wants her to witness Earth's defeat." The 3 humans made their way toward the bridge, taking advantage of the ship's growing chaos. Along the way, they encountered Ambassador Ziltrax, who had been brought aboard as a prisoner after warning the humans. "Councillor Vereen has convinced several council members that Craven's attack is illegal," Ziltrax told them. "Ships from other species are on their way to stop this. They may arrive too late," Carter said. They continued through the ship, eventually joining up with Patel and Coleman. Now 5 strong, they developed a plan to reach the bridge and free Commander Wright. On Earth Vice Admiral Howard received an unexpected communication from Counselor Vereen. The attack was not authorized by the full council, Vereen explained. Admiral Craven acted against our laws. Help is coming, but you must hold out. We'll do more than hold out, Howard replied. He ordered a daring move. Earth's remaining ships would target the subjugator directly. If they could capture or disable the flagship, the rest of the fleet might withdraw. Aboard the subjugator, conditions were deteriorating rapidly. Engineers couldn't fix the virus in their systems. Life support continued to malfunction. And now Earth ships were approaching in a direct attack formation. Carter's team had reached a service corridor near the bridge. Patel accessed a control panel and showed them a layout of the bridge. Commander Wright is here, he pointed. Surrounded by Vrexian officers. We need a distraction. Coleman smiled. I have an idea. She accessed the environmental controls for the bridge and pushed them to extremes. Temperature rose rapidly. Oxygen levels increased. Gravity intensified to Earth normal levels. On the bridge, Vrexian officers began collapsing. Their bodies weren't designed for such conditions. Admiral Craven struggled to remain standing as his world spun around him. What's happening? He gasped. Commander Wright stood tall, unaffected by conditions that felt normal to her. This is what Earth is like every day. This is what makes us strong. The bridge doors opened and Carter led the human team in. They quickly secured the room as the remaining Vrexians were too weak to resist. Commander, we've taken control of the environmental systems throughout the ship, Patel reported. Most of the crew is incapacitated. Wright nodded and turned to Admiral Craven, who had sunk to his knees. Order your fleet to stand down. Never, he hissed. Ambassador Ziltrax stepped forward. The full council has declared this attack illegal. Other council ships are on their way. It's over, Craven. Before the Admiral could respond, the ship shook violently. Earth vessels had begun their attack on the subjugator. Without its shields at full power, the mighty ship was vulnerable. Wright took command of the situation. Broadcast on all channels. Tell the Vrexian fleet their admiral has been captured. Tell Earth forces we've taken the flagship. As the message went out, the battle paused. Vrexian ships, now leaderless and faced with unexpected resistance, hesitated. From the communications array, Counselor Vereen's voice came through. The Council demands an immediate end to hostilities. Admiral Craven has exceeded his authority. The Vrexian fleet began to withdraw from Earth orbit. On the ground, alien troops returned to their landing craft. Admiral Craven looked up at command. 2 weeks after the Battle of Earth, the Galactic Council held an emergency session. Representatives from all 27 species gathered in the Grand Chamber. For the first time, humans were invited to attend as official observers. Commander Wright led the Earth delegation. With her were Lieutenant Carter, Dr. Daniels, Dr. Nunez, Engineer Patel, and Officer Coleman. They sat together in a special section, aware of the many eyes watching them. High Counselor Zivex called the session to order. We are gathered to address the unauthorized military action against Earth and to determine humanity's status within galactic society. Admiral Craven stood in the center of the chamber, stripped of his medals and rank insignia. 4 Vrexian guards stood behind him. Admiral Craven has been found guilty of exceeding council authority, Zivex announced. He launched an attack without proper authorization and violated numerous council laws. Counselor Vereen spoke next. This incident has revealed serious problems in how we approach new species, especially those from death worlds. The chamber filled with murmurs. Many council members still feared humans, but that fear was now mixed with respect. The humans defended their world with remarkable skill despite their technological disadvantages, continued Vereen. They showed both strength and restraint. They could have destroyed the subjugator, but instead chose to capture it. Admiral Craven was allowed to speak. You are all blind to the danger, he said bitterly. Death worlders cannot be integrated into galactic society. They are too strong, too aggressive, too unpredictable. Dr. Nunez whispered a translation to her colleagues as the Admiral continued. History will prove me right. Humans will not be content to stay in their place. They will expand, conquer and destroy our way of life. When it was Earth's turn to address the Council, Commander Wright stood. She walked to the center of the chamber, standing tall despite the lighter gravity. "Members of the Galactic Council," she began. "Humans come from a harsh world. Yes, we are physically stronger than many of you. Yes, our history includes Wright with hatred in his 4 eyes. This isn't over. The galaxy will never accept Deathworlders." Wright looked down at him calmly. "Then the galaxy will need to adapt, because we're here to stay." As Council ships arrived, to restore order, humanity had proven something important. Deathworlders might be feared, but they should never be underestimated, and the galaxy would never be the same again. Humans are just a myth, right? A xenoanthropologist's worst nightmare. 3 months passed aboard the Starseeker. Dr. Zixtal spent most days analyzing data and reviewing her research. The ship hummed quietly as it moved through the empty blackness, toward their destination. "We're approaching the target system," Charlie announced one morning. His blue fingers danced across the navigation controls. "Sensors are picking up something unusual." Dr. Zixtal hurried to the bridge, her heart beating faster. "What kind of unusual?" "Radio signals. Structured data patterns. Definitely artificial," said Mira, her 4 arms working different control panels at once. "And they're coming from the 3rd moon of the 6th planet." The main screen showed a gas giant with several moons. One of them glowed with faint lights on its dark side. "That's impossible," whispered Vreen, his eye stalks extending in surprise. "The records show this system should be uninhabited." "Official records," corrected Dr. Zixtal. Her inner eyelids blinked rapidly with excitement. "Take us closer, but stay alert. Let's see who's out here." As they approached the moon, signs of civilization became clear. The dark side showed patterns of light that could only be settlements. Scans revealed artificial structures, energy signatures, and atmospheric changes consistent with terraforming. "Someone has made this moon habitable," said Dr. Zixtal. "The atmosphere contains oxygen and nitrogen in proportions similar to what the ancient records described as ideal for humans." Vreen looked nervous. "If humans really exist, and they're as dangerous as the stories say, perhaps we should report back before making contact." "We've come too far to turn back now," Dr. Zixtal said firmly. "Besides, the myths also say humans were curious and often friendly. We'll observe first, then decide." They positioned the ship in orbit and spent a week watching the settlement. Below, the inhabitants were clearly bipedal, matching all the descriptions of humans from the ancient records. They lived in simple structures arranged around a central building. They grew food in large fields and appeared to have only basic space technology. "They don't seem very advanced," observed Mira. "No sign of the powerful weapons or fearsome technology from the myths. Maybe those were just stories," suggested Charlie. Dr. Zixtal made her decision. "We're going down, just the 4 of us. The rest of the team stays with the ship." They took the small landing shuttle to a flat area about 1 kilometer from the settlement. Dr. Zixtal felt her hands shake as she prepared to meet creatures that most of the galaxy thought were just scary bedtime stories. "Remember," she told her team, "we're researchers. We observe and document. No matter what happens, stay calm and follow my lead." They stepped out onto the moon's surface. The air was cool but breathable. In the distance, they could see movement at the edge of the settlement. "They've noticed us," said Vreen, his voice higher than normal. A group of figures approached. They walked upright on 2 legs. Their skin colors ranged from pale tan to deep brown. They wore simple clothing and carried no visible weapons. One stepped ahead of the others. "Hello," the figure called in perfect galactic standard. "Welcome to New Hope Colony. We've been expecting someone to find us eventually." Dr. Zixtal was too shocked to respond immediately. The human spoke their language. It knew what they were. It had been expecting them. She stepped forward. "I am Dr. Zixtal, Xenoanthropologist from the University of Galactic Anthropology. Are you human?" The figure smiled, showing flat white teeth. "Yes. My name is Paul Bennett. We are all humans here. He gestured to the others behind him. Though, we thought our first visitors might be traders rather than academics. How do you speak our language? Asked Mira. We've been monitoring communications for years, Paul explained. Part of staying hidden was understanding what was happening in the galaxy. Staying hidden, Dr. Zixtal repeated. Then the records were wrong. Humans weren't wiped out. You've been here all along? Paul's expression grew more serious. Not here specifically. New Hope was established 30 years ago. But yes, humans have survived. Come, you must be tired from your journey. We can talk more in the community center. They followed the humans into the settlement. Other humans stopped their activities to watch the visitors pass. Some looked curious, others wary. Children, small humans, peeked out from behind buildings and were quickly pulled back by adults. The community center was a large building in the middle of the settlement. Inside, more humans waited. One female stepped forward. I'm Susan Miller, Governor of New Hope, she said. This is quite a historic moment for both our peoples. Dr. Zixtal couldn't believe what was happening. Her theory had been correct all along. Humans were real. They existed. And they seemed nothing like the dangerous monsters of galactic mythology. Why? Are you hidden? She asked. Why does the galaxy think humans are just myths? Susan and Paul exchanged glances. Another human, a female with darker skin, joined them. I'm Olivia Garcia, our colony historian, she said. That's a complicated story, and one we don't share with just anyone. But since you've found us, you deserve to know the truth. They sat around a large table. Dr. Zixtal activated her recording devices, determined to document everything. Centuries ago, Olivia began, humans developed faster than light travel and joined the galactic community. At first, things went well. We traded, shared knowledge, and learned from other species. But then, Paul continued, problems started. Humans are different from most species. We adapt quickly. We can survive in many environments that would kill others. We heal faster. We think differently. Some species found these traits concerning, said Susan. They saw us as unpredictable, potentially dangerous, a threat to the established order. Dr. Zixtal felt a chill. What happened? A coalition formed, Olivia said quietly. They decided humans needed to be removed from the galactic stage. Earth's location was erased from all records. Human outposts were systematically attacked. Those who survived went into hiding. And then, Susan finished, they created the mythology. Stories about dangerous, monstrous humans. Tales to frighten children. Academic proof that humans never really existed. After a few generations, the galaxy forgot we were ever real. Dr. Zixtal sat in stunned silence. The implications were enormous. A deliberate erasure of an entire species from history. A conspiracy, spanning centuries. But you survived, she said finally. Paul nodded. We became legends, and that kept us safe. Until now. Vreen looked at Dr. Zixtal with concern. Doctor, if this is true, what happens when we report our findings? What will it mean for them, for us? Before she could answer, a young human burst into the room, breathing hard. Governor, he said urgently to Susan. We've detected a ship entering the system. Not the researcher's vessel, something much larger. Susan's face hardened. How many? Just one. Federation design. Paul turned to Dr. Zixtal, his expression suddenly suspicious. Did you tell someone where you were going? Did you report your findings already? Dr. Zixtal felt fear rising in her chest. I sent preliminary data to the university as required. Standard procedure. You didn't think they would care, finished Olivia. But some people care very much about keeping humans as nothing more than myths. Outside, alarms began to sound throughout the settlement. Humans are just a myth, right? A xenoanthropologist's worst nightmare. Everyone stay calm, said Susan, her voice steady despite the alarms. We have protocols for this. Paul turned to Dr. Zixtal. Your university must have shared your findings with Federation authorities. I don't understand, said Dr. Zixtal. Why would the Federation care about a small human settlement after all this time? Because some truths are dangerous, Olivia explained. The truth about what happened to humans would shake the foundation of the Federation. Susan was already giving orders to other humans who had entered the room. They moved with practiced efficiency, as if they had prepared for this day. We need to access your communication systems, Paul said to Dr. Zixtal. We need to know what that ship is broadcasting. Vreen looked to Dr. Zixtal for guidance. She nodded, and he connected their portable comm unit to the colony's systems. A voice crackled through the speakers, speaking in official Federation code. Mira translated. They're ordering us to prepare for boarding. They say they're here to rescue us from dangerous specimens. Her four hands paused over the controls. They think we're in danger from you? Not rescue, said Paul grimly. They're here to eliminate witnesses and evidence. I don't believe you, said Dr. Zixtal, though doubt crept into her voice. The Federation doesn't destroy innocent beings. Olivia stepped closer. Dr. Zixtal, the Federation you know was built on a lie. The erasure of humans from history wasn't just an academic mistake. It was deliberate policy. Susan returned to the table. We have perhaps 2 hours before they land. Dr. Zixtal, you have a choice to make. Help us or return to your ship and leave. Either way, we won't blame you for what's happening. Dr. Zixtal felt trapped between her academic integrity and the disturbing implications of what she was learning. If humans had been systematically erased from history, what else about galactic society was built on lies? I need to see proof, she said finally. Real evidence of what you're claiming. Paul nodded. Follow me. He led Dr. Zixtal and her team to a secured room beneath the community center. Inside was a small archive with data storage units far more advanced than the rest of the colony's technology. This is our history vault, explained Paul. Every human settlement has one. Records dating back to before the Purge. Olivia activated a display, and images appeared in the air. Documents, videos, and star charts more detailed than any Dr. Zixtal had seen. This is Earth, said Olivia, showing a beautiful blue-green planet. Our homeworld. Not destroyed as Federation records claim, but hidden. Hidden? An entire planet? Asked Charlie in disbelief. With technology that was already beyond Federation understanding at the time, confirmed Paul. The same technology that's kept human survivors safe for centuries. The display showed historical records of humans interacting with various alien species, trade agreements, cultural exchanges, scientific collaborations. Then came images of conflict, attacks on human outposts, Federation ships surrounding Earth. When they couldn't defeat us directly, they tried to erase us, said Olivia. Most of our people went into hiding with Earth. The rest scattered, disappearing, into remote regions like this one. Dr. Zixtal watched in stunned silence. The evidence was overwhelming. Her life's work studying myths had led her to an earth-shattering truth. Not just that humans existed, but that the galactic civilization she served had committed an atrocity and covered it up. What happens now? She asked quietly. Now, said a new voice from the doorway. We take more direct action. A human male stood there. Unlike the others, he wore what appeared to be a uniform of some kind. Behind him was a human female similarly dressed. Captain Alan Carter, he introduced himself. This is Commander Lily Ward. We're not exactly part of this colony. Susan looked annoyed. They're our protection detail. They weren't supposed to reveal themselves. Plans change, said Alan calmly. The Federation ship will be here sooner than expected. They've accelerated their approach. Dr. Zixtal noticed something strange. Though Alan and Lily wore simple uniforms, they carried themselves differently from the colonists. More confident, almost predatory. You're soldiers. She realized. Not exactly, said Lily with a slight smile. Think of us as guardians. Alan turned to Susan. We need to evacuate the colonists now. Our ship is standing by. Your ship? Asked Mira. We didn't detect any other vessels in the system. Alan and Lily exchanged amused glances. You wouldn't, said Alan. Federation sensors can't detect our technology. Dr. Zixtal's mind raced. What kind of technology could hide an entire planet? Or ships that even the advanced sensors of the Starseeker couldn't detect? How advanced are humans, really? She asked. The humans you've met here are living simply by choice, explained Lily. Other settlements have developed differently. Suddenly, alarms blared again, louder than before. They've entered orbit, announced a young human running into the vault. Estimated landing in 30 minutes. Susan immediately began issuing evacuation orders. The colonists moved with surprising order, gathering at prearranged points around the settlement. What about my team on the Starseeker? Asked Dr. Zixtal urgently. Alan touched a device on his wrist. Already taken care of. Your ship is being moved to safety as we speak. How? Demanded Charlie. They'd never abandon their posts or let strangers board. They weren't given a choice, said Alan, not unkindly. But they're unharmed and will remain that way. Dr. Zixtal realized with growing unease just how powerless they were. These humans had capabilities far beyond what they had revealed. The myths about human adaptability and resilience hadn't been exaggerations after all. You have a decision to make, Doctor, said Olivia gently. The Federation ship is coming to silence you and eliminate us. You can try to reason with them, or you can come with us and learn the full truth. Where would we go? Asked Vreen, his eye stalks quivering. Somewhere safe, said Paul. Somewhere the Federation doesn't know exists. Outside, the colonists were already boarding transport vehicles. Families carried small bags of possessions. Children clutched toys. They moved quickly but without panic. Dr. Zixtal looked at her team. Charlie, Mira, and Vreen waited for her decision. They had followed her into the unknown based on her theory about human myths. Now they were caught in something far more complex and dangerous. We'll go with you, she said finally. The Federation lied about humans. I need to know what else they lied about. Alan nodded approvingly. Good choice. Now hurry. We need to be gone before they land. As they left the vault, Dr. Zixtal glanced at a final image still displayed. Earth surrounded by what appeared to be an energy field, vanishing from normal space. A world hidden by technology so advanced it might as well be magic to most galactic citizens. The humans weren't just real. They were nothing like the simple creatures she had expected to find. And the galaxy she thought she knew was built on a foundation of lies. In the sky above, the Federation ship grew larger, coming to erase the evidence of humans once again. But this time, there would be witnesses. Humans are just a myth, right? A xenoanthropologist's worst nightmare. Alan led Dr. Zixtal and her team quickly through the settlement. Colonists were boarding large transport vehicles that had appeared from hidden underground hangars. Where are these people going? Asked Dr. Zixtal, hurrying to keep up with Alan's long strides. To another colony, said Lily, checking a device on her wrist. One that's more secure. New hope was always meant to be found eventually. A decoy? Mira sounded surprised. This entire settlement was created to be discovered? Paul nodded as he joined them. Yes. We knew that sooner or later someone would find evidence of humans. We needed to control that discovery. They reached the edge of the settlement. Beyond the buildings was only empty, rocky terrain. At least, that's what it looked like to Dr. Zixtal. Alan touched his wrist device again and spoke quietly. Perimeter. Team, stand down. We're coming aboard with 4 visitors. Suddenly, the air in front of them rippled like water. A doorway appeared in what had been empty space. Beyond it, Dr. Zixtal could see a metallic corridor. Cloaking technology, whispered Charlie in awe. Perfect visual and sensor masking. Come, said Alan, stepping through the doorway. Quickly now. Dr. Zixtal hesitated only a moment before following. Her team came behind her. Inside was a vessel unlike any she had studied. The corridor curved gently, its walls smooth and seamless. Soft light came from no visible source. This technology is far beyond Federation standards, said Mira, her 4 hands touching the wall material curiously. By about 300 years, confirmed Lily with pride. Humans never stopped advancing, we just stopped sharing our progress. They reached a central command room. Other humans in similar uniforms worked at stations around the circular space. Through a large viewing panel, Dr. Zixtal could see the last colonists boarding their transports. "Captain," said one of the crew, "Federation vessel has begun landing procedures. Estimated touchdown in 12 minutes. "Are all colonists secured?" asked Alan. "Almost, last group boarding now." Dr. Zixtal watched in fascination as the hidden human ship systems displayed information in ways she'd never seen before. Data flowed in 3 dimensions, responding to subtle gestures from the crew. "What about the rest of my team on the Starseeker?" she asked again, worried. Alan gestured to a display. It showed her research vessel being towed by what appeared to be another cloaked ship. "Your crew is fine," he assured her. "They're in a temporary sleep state. When this is over, they'll remember nothing unusual." "What exactly is this?" demanded Dr. Zixtal. "What's happening here?" Olivia stepped forward. "A turning point, Doctor. For centuries, humans have hidden, letting the galaxy forget us. But we've been watching, waiting for the right moment to re-emerge." "Why now?" asked Vreen, his eye stalks nervously contracting. "It wasn't supposed to be now," said Paul with a glance at Olivia. "The plan was to wait another decade, but your discovery forced our hand." On the display, the Federation ship was landing near the now empty settlement. It was a military vessel, much larger than the Starseeker. Armed figures began to disembark. "Federation security forces," identified Mira. "Heavy weapons." "They're not taking chances," said Lily. "They think they're dealing with wild myths come to life." Dr. Zixtal felt sick as she watched the armed soldiers spread through the settlement. They came to destroy, not to investigate. "Now you understand why." "We've stayed hidden," said Alan, his voice hard. "But hiding has a cost. Our people are scattered. Our history erased. Our rightful place in the galaxy denied." A new human entered the command room. She wore a different uniform with more decoration. The other humans straightened as she approached. "Captain." "Report," she said to Alan. "All colonists secured, Captain Wright. Transport ships away, settlement empty. Federation forces have landed and are searching." Captain Wright nodded, then turned to Dr. Zixtal. "I'm Captain Natalie Wright. Welcome aboard the Guardian." Dr. Zixtal tried to process everything happening around her. "Your ship, it's military?" "Not exactly," said Natalie. "We're protectors. This ship is one of many positioned near human settlements throughout the galaxy." On the display, the Federation soldiers were now entering buildings, weapons ready. "What will they do when they find the settlement empty?" asked Charlie. "They'll assume the colonists fled into the wilderness," said Paul. "They'll search for a while, then likely destroy the settlement to remove evidence." Dr. Zixtal was horrified. "We can't let that happen. All that data, the artifacts, all taken or copied," assured Olivia. Nothing important was left behind. Natalie studied Dr. Zixtal carefully. "You're facing a difficult truth, Doctor. The galactic civilization you serve is built on lies and the attempted destruction of an entire species." "Not all the Federation was involved," said Lily. "Just a powerful coalition of species who feared human potential." "What do you want from us?" asked Dr. Zixtal finally. "Initially, your silence," said Natalie. "But now I think you might serve a greater purpose." Alan brought a datapad to Natalie. She reviewed it quickly and nodded. "Send a message to command. Inform them that Operation Revelation is now active. Timeline accelerated." The command room burst into activity. Crew members moved with new urgency. "What's Operation Revelation?" asked Dr. Zixtal. "The end of hiding," said Natalie simply. "The return of humanity to the galactic stage," one of the crew called out. "Captain, we've detected a transmission from the Federation ship. They're reporting the settlement abandoned but recent. They're requesting permission to sterilize the site." "Sterilize?" echoed Vreen in horror. "Destroy completely," confirmed Paul grimly. "Leave no evidence for others to find." Dr. Zixtal couldn't believe what she was hearing. Her own government, the civilization she had served her entire career, was about to destroy a settlement simply to maintain a historical lie. "I need to contact my university," she said suddenly. "Professor Kralvex needs to know what's happening here." Natalie and Alan exchanged glances. "Your rival, Professor Kralvex, already knows," said Natalie softly. "He's the one who alerted Federation security about your discovery." Dr. Zixtal felt as if the floor had dropped away beneath her. "What? How could you know that?" "Because we have been monitoring all communications related to human research for centuries," explained Olivia. "Your professor has family connections to one of the species most involved in the original purge." The betrayal stung. All those years of mockery from Kralvex, not just academic rivalry, but active suppression of the truth. On the display, the Federation soldiers were setting up equipment around the settlement perimeter. "They're preparing to destroy everything," said Mira, her voice shaking. "Not this time," said Natalie, her voice steely. She turned to her crew. "Signal the fleet. It's time to show ourselves." Alan worked his console, then looked up with a grim smile. "Fleet responding, Captain. All ships report ready." Dr. Zixtal looked from the display to Natalie in confusion. "Fleet? What fleet?" Natalie gestured to the viewing panel, which suddenly changed to show the space around the moon. Where there had been empty space moments before, ships were appearing. Not one or two, but dozens, then hundreds. As each deactivated its cloaking, it became visible to both sensors and eyes. "The human fleet," said Natalie quietly. "Just a small part of it, actually. Stationed near every hidden colony, watching and waiting." Dr. Zixtal and her team stared in awe at the armada now visible around the small moon. Ships of designs they had never seen, sizes ranging from small fighters to massive capital ships, all appearing from nothing as if by magic. "Now," said Natalie, "we give the Federation a choice. Continue their lies and face us, or acknowledge the truth and help us. Rejoin galactic society on our terms." The myth had become reality, and the galaxy would never be the same. Humans are just a myth, right? A xenoanthropologist's worst nightmare. The command room of the Guardian fell silent as everyone watched the displays. Hundreds of human ships now surrounded the moon, visible to both sensors and eyes. The small Federation vessel looked tiny in comparison. "Open a channel to the Federation ship," ordered Captain Natalie Wright. "All frequencies, all known languages." A crew member worked at his station. "Channel open, Captain." Natalie stood straight, her voice clear and commanding. "Federation vessel, this is Captain Natalie Wright of the human ship Guardian. You are surrounded. Power down your weapons and stand by to receive representatives." Dr. Zixtal watched the unfolding scene with a mixture of fear and wonder. In just a few days, her understanding of the galaxy had been completely upended. Humans were not only real, but possessed technology far beyond Federation standards, and they had remained hidden for centuries, watching and waiting. The Federation ship did not respond immediately. On the displays, Dr. Zixtal could see frantic activity as they scanned the suddenly revealed fleet. "They're charging weapons," reported a crew member. Natalie shook her head. "They must realize how pointless that is." After several tense moments, a reply came through. A harsh voice spoke in formal galactic standard. "Unknown vessels, this is Commander Vexcor of Federation Security Forces. Your presence in restricted space is a violation of Federation law. Power down and prepare to be boarded." Alan snorted. "They're still trying to maintain the lie." "Even when confronted with hundreds of our ships," agreed Lily. "Impressive dedication." Natalie leaned forward. "Commander Vexcor, I suggest you look more carefully at your sensor readings. You are facing a human fleet." "Yes, humans. The species your Federation has pretended doesn't exist for 5 centuries. The myth you were sent to ensure remained a myth." There was a long pause before the reply came. "Humans are a legend, a story. And yet, here we are," said Natalie calmly. "Very real, very present, and very tired of hiding. You have 2 options, Commander. You can continue your mission to destroy evidence of our existence and face the consequences, or you can become part of a historic moment, the return of humanity to the galactic stage. Dr. Zixtal stepped forward. Captain Wright, let me speak to them. I'm a Federation citizen, a respected academic. Natalie considered this, then nodded. Very well, Doctor. Dr. Zixtal stood before the communication panel. Commander Vexcor, this is Dr. Zixtal of the University of Galactic Anthropology. I came here researching what I thought were myths. I found truth instead. Humans are real. They have been real all along. And the Federation, or at least parts of it, has known this and hidden it. Dr. Zixtal, the commander replied, his voice less certain now. You have been deceived. These creatures have manipulated you. No, she said firmly. I've seen the evidence, historical records, data that matches across too many sources to be fabricated. The Federation has built its peace on a lie, the erasure of an entire species. There was silence again. The displays showed the Federation, ship's weapons powering down. What happens now? Asked the commander finally. Natalie stepped back to the communication panel. Now we talk, properly, not just with you, but with the entire Federation. It's time for the galaxy to remember what it was forced to forget. Within hours, communication buoys had been deployed throughout nearby systems. The human fleet positioned ships at key navigation points. More hidden human vessels revealed themselves near major Federation worlds. Dr. Zixtal worked with Olivia to prepare the historical evidence. They organized records, testimonies, and artifacts that proved both the existence of humans and the conspiracy to erase them from galactic memory. Will they believe it? Asked Vreen, watching them work. After so many centuries of thinking humans were just myths, they'll have no choice, said Paul. The evidence is overwhelming and the fleet is persuasive. On the main Federation communication channels, feeds began to interrupt regular transmissions. On thousands of worlds, beings of all species watched as Captain Natalie Wright delivered a message that would change the galaxy forever. People of the Federation, for centuries you have been told that humans are legends, stories to frighten children, myths from a forgotten age. Today that lie ends. Humanity has survived, hidden but never defeated. We return now not for revenge, but for truth. The transmission showed the human fleet. It showed Earth emerging from its hidden pocket of space-time. It showed human colonies throughout the galaxy, revealing themselves after centuries of secrecy. Dr. Zixtal stood on the bridge of the Guardian, watching history unfold. She felt a strange mix of emotions: pride at discovering the truth, shame at her civilization's deception, and wonder at what would come next. They'll resist, said Charlie quietly. The species who orchestrated this deception won't simply admit what they did. Some will resist, agreed Alan, but others will welcome the truth. The Federation isn't just those who hid us. It's billions of beings who never knew we existed. In the days that followed, chaos and wonder spread across the galaxy in equal measure. Federation authorities scrambled to respond to the human revelation. Some denied everything. Others called for calm and investigation. A few admitted the ancient deception and stepped down from their positions. Dr. Zixtal's research became the most accessed academic work in Federation history. Her careful documentation of human myths, combined with the evidence provided by the humans themselves, created an undeniable case for the truth. Professor Kralvex was arrested for his role in the conspiracy. His family connections to one of the original anti-human species exposed centuries of deliberate suppression of evidence. 1 month after the revelation, Dr. Zixtal stood in the Grand Hall of the Federation Council. Delegates from hundreds of worlds had gathered for a historic session. For the first time in 5 centuries, human representatives would address the council. Natalie Wright led the human delegation. Behind her came Paul, Olivia, and other humans who had lived their lives in hiding. They walked with dignity, neither aggressive nor apologetic. You found your myth, said Mira, standing beside Dr. Zixtal in the observer section, and changed the galaxy in the process. Dr. Zixtal watched as the human delegates took their places. The greatest myths always contain truth. I just never expected to find this much of it. The Federation president, A centaurian with age-whitened fur called for silence. "Today," he said, his voice carrying through the vast chamber, "we correct a historical wrong. We welcome back those who were unjustly removed from our shared civilization. We acknowledge the crime committed against them, and we seek a new beginning." Natalie stepped forward to address the council. "For centuries, we became legend. Today we return to history. Humanity accepts your acknowledgement of the past. Now let us build a future together, one based on truth, not fear." Dr. Zixtal smiled as applause filled the chamber. Her search for myths had revealed a truth greater than she ever imagined. The Xenoanthropologist who went looking for legends had instead found a new chapter in galactic history. The humans were real, and now everyone would know it.